Hey guys, it's Mike here from the basement once again. It is 5 minutes Friday for August the 11th. Excuse me, I never know what day it is. Today I don't really have any updates for you all. We're going to have a real short 5 Minute Friday next week because when 5 Minute Friday drops next week, it will be the day before the Hot 100. So I will actually be on site, so I'll have to record it in advance. So this week I really just want to give you guys maybe a little bit of insight into the Reaper 30K. That's the race I wanted to talk to you about today. None of the regular updates about registration or sponsors or anything like that. I wanted to tell you just kind of where these races come from, and specifically where that one came from. How did it come to be? Why is it called the Reaper? And that kind of stuff. I originally just went out for a run at Cave Run Lake one time. Zilpo Campground, which is on the west side of Cave Run Lake. If any of you are from central eastern Kentucky, or if you visit there very often, Cave Run Lake is a massive man-made lake just outside of Moorhead, Kentucky. It kind of splits between Rowan County, which is where Moorhead is, and Bath County, which is where we'll be doing our race. The Zilpo Recreation Area and Zilpo Campground are on the west side. So I went out there one day last summer, probably about a year ago now as we stand here, a little bit over a year ago, I guess. Just to try and get for a run. Now, those of you who know me and Brandy, who runs Next Opportunity with me, we lived in Virginia for a little bit last year, and we had just moved back last summer, last July, to Kentucky. And after the stressful move and the exhausting move, I just needed to get out in the woods and run. So I decided to go, I just needed to go somewhere new. I've run along the Sheltowee Trace quite a bit. I've run in Red River Gorge a gajillion times and could probably run out there with my eyes closed. So I just wanted to try somewhere new. So I went out to Cave Run Lake and parked at Buckskin Trailhead, which is now part of the Reaper 30K course. And after looking at the map, I kind of picked out a little route that I would run. And remember, this is about a year ago, so it's actually it was actually late July, early August at the time. We were kind of getting ready for the final push for the Hot 100, and I just needed to get out in the woods. So I went out and I ran Buckskin Trail, Cave Run Trail, and then returned to my car via the Zilpo Scenic Byway, which is about, at that time where I was running, it's about a 3-mile stretch. Now, this is late July, early August, and it was the hardest damn thing I had ever done. I remember I was just a few miles in and I was actually running with a bladder, which I never do. I hate running with a pack, despise running with a bladder. But I was that day just because I wasn't sure, I was unfamiliar with the trail, I wasn't sure really where I was going, and I just, if I got lost, I didn't want to be without water. So I had plenty of water and I was drinking enough, but I was just so hot. I actually had to step off the trail a few times and just step into the lake and kind of walk out until the water was up to here just so I could cool off. But at the time, the water itself felt like it was 90 degrees. It was just like getting into a warm soup. So it didn't really help any. And so after stepping into the lake a few times, I continued on my run and up and down the climbs, and you just kept hitting these really hot spots. And I eventually called Brandy once I made it to the road and had about 3 miles to go on the road. And I don't even really remember this, but I left her this incoherent message where I kind of blacked out a little bit. Even though I'd been drinking, I think I overheated maybe and probably almost died. So I called her and left her this weird message about like, I'm okay, I think I'm gonna make it to the car, but it's fine. And eventually when I got home later and took a nap and thought the next day about just how damn hard that was. It was just, and maybe it was a little bit I was ill prepared, but it almost killed me. And so then when we decided we got to do a race out here, what do we call it? The only visual I could think of from that day was just this Grim Reaper chasing me down the trail and trying to kill me, because it's the only time I've ever been out on a run and thought I might not make it back to my car. So that's how the Reaper 30K was born, that's how the course was born, and that's how I got the name for the race. So hopefully that's a little fun background about where the race comes from. Each of our races have their own little story, so maybe I'll hit those in some future 5 Minute Fridays. But we're out of time for this week. I'll see you next week, and I hope I see you all at the Hot 100 next Saturday, the 19th. Remember, race day registration for the 10K is available